live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Hey, hey, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, 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 we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
All right, so we're at my favorite part, real roll call. And this is where we just quickly go through some topics and give our response. And of course, I'm not timing it again. We're going to make it through. We did it in record time last week, and I just trust that we will again. Yeah. So let us get started. So our first topic is indie rocker Faye Webster. Is a huge fan of the Braves. Like literally, she said during the pandemic and her being like isolated, like not being able to perform, that she spent her time watching the Braves because she's from Atlanta, loves the Braves, but has an affinity for one particular Brave, Mr. Acuna Jr. Yes. Acuna Jr. And so he was her muse for her album that she put out that happened to go, I don't know how far it went, but it did very well.
Oh, wow, okay.
One of her best-selling albums. And he was the muse for that. What's your thoughts?
I think that's dope. You know, like as a musician.
Yes.
And someone who makes music.
Yes.
Like using someone in popular culture, like to create, you know, it's always been a thing.
Yeah.
You know, and so I thought it was dope that, especially because she did this before the Braves won the
yes. This album was from last year.
World Series.
Yes, this was 2020 album. So yeah.
I think it's dope that she came out and spoke about it.
Yeah.
Now, like, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So not only does Ronald Acuna Jr. have a World Series title, right. He was the muse or the inspiration behind a successful album.
Successful album. How dope is that? I'm like, how dope is that? I'm like, now my thing is, Mr. Acuna Jr., are you gonna holler at her? Like, let her know how you feel about it. I feel like that's a necessity, right?
Oh yeah, he has to listen to the album and
you gotta let her know what you feel about being her muse. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
All right, next topic. Brady, Tom, if y'all don't know who we're talking about, unfortunately that we talk about him just about every week. Anyway, Tom Brady came out and said that the league warned him, because if y'all listened to last week's show, we talked about him having a temper tantrum on the sideline, and throwing the tablet. And so the league warned him that if he did it again, they were going to fine him because he can't be through. So I find it interesting that they did not fine him now because he did it regardless. Don't warn him. You knew not to throw the darn thing. Let's start there. But anyway, what do you think?
Can I call white privilege on this?
Okay, sure.
Or nah. Maybe it's not white privilege. Maybe it's goat privilege.
It's called Brady privilege. I don't know if it's white privilege. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's because I feel like this. Let's pick another quarterback.
Russell Wilson.
No, he can't be black. Another quarterback.
Okay.
Oh, your boy, your man, your bromance, Tannehill.
Okay.
If this was Ryan Tannehill and he threw that thing, you know he'd be fine, right? Okay.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know that this is white privilege.
Okay. So I see.
This is Tom Brady privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goat privilege.
Yeah. So, all right. Next topic. Draymond Green about the game postponement. Look at you.
I couldn't. No, I ironically enough, I'm actually on Draymond Green's side with this one.
No, I feel him. I am too.
I think the only caveat I got once I thought about it right before we recorded or we started recording was that the Omicron variant, is a lot easier to contract.
It's easier transmittable. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so because of that, we kind of got to look at people contracting it through a different lens. Now, the point that he made was, y'all didn't do this. Y'all didn't postpone no games for us when our players got it and we lost games. So you're going to give them a competitive advantage. And I was like, you know what? I completely, I get it. I'm with you on it.
Yep.
What's
good for the goose is good for the gander.
Indeed. My only thing is, like, we have to look at, like, now with the, and it morphed some time ago, but with the, the new variant, we got to look at this a lot different because so many people are coming down with it. Like, we can't just have games where it's 6 people on the court. Like,
well, that's the only reason they did it, because they didn't even have enough people to play.
Right.
That's really the only reason they did it. But
right.
To his point, I feel like, but it doesn't matter if we had 10 people out or we had 6 people out. There was a disadvantage.
Right.
And so at that point,
you should have postponed those games
period. Too. Exactly. Right. I agree. I agree. How about this one? How about this? I need our president and these people to stop backing off and just shut the country back down. And I don't care who like it.
Yeah.
And so all of these things that's happening, just shut them down. Instead of trying to piecemeal things together and hope that, can we just hang on? It's our capitalistic society at its finest. Indeed. This is what's happening. Anyway, that's not what we talk about on here. All right. Missouri upset #1 South Carolina.
Now, I'm going to tell you why I'm not worried about South Carolina with this one.
Okay.
I feel like they still probably should have won that game, right? And in a second, we're going to talk about, like, decisions by referees that lead to, to the outcome of games. But there was 0.1 seconds left on the clock. Right, with Missouri up by 1,
right?
Because they had just hit the game winner.
They were up by 1. Being the game winner. I said, what ended up being the game winner?
Well, right, what ended up being the game winner. But when, and I cannot think of her name, but the young lady, I believe her hair was purple. When they threw the inbound pass to her, she jumped in the air and went right up with it and scored. And they ended up coming back and saying that the time had run out when, now, if I'm not mistaken, apparently, I guess maybe she held the ball a little bit. It looked like she tapped it in.
Right, because if she had just tapped it, it would have
It would have been enough time.
It would have been enough time. But because it actually was in the palm of her hand for that split, which is only that 0.1 seconds that was left.
Right.
It was not in process of going into the basket. And so that's why they called it. I mean, it was a huge loss, but not. I agree with you. It was not a huge loss because you were this close to really, I mean, the palm of her hand was literally the difference between the game. If she had just took her fingernails and hit the ball instead of
it would have been a game
winner. It would have been a game winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So literally it was a game of less than inches. Less than so.
Game of centimeters.
Speaking of that, we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway. So Rajon Rondo to the Cavs.
He's received a lot more DNPs over the last since the bubble. He received a lot more DNPs, and so I think maybe it's just over for him.
Thank you. That's all I was gonna say. That was my only point. You made my point. I just go sit down, boo-boo. It's okay.
Yeah.
When they start trading you 3 and 4 times in the same season, it's time to just go sit down. It's okay.
So a part of me feels like, though, that he has to be a better option than Russ. With the way that Russ is turning the ball over.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. And the amount of points that they're losing by. If you cut those turnovers in half. Yeah.
This is an age thing. This is an age thing. That's what this is. It's, and honestly, it's a popularity thing.
Definitely.
Russ's name has LA is the place where everybody's celebrity superstars. So having LeBron was huge. Bringing AD, huge. Having Russ, huge, right? So
he's from LA.
It's the name. It's the name and the age thing. And Rondo is neither one. Not young, nor is he famous like him. Like, people know Rajon Rondo, but they don't know. If you said Russell Westbrook, they know who you're talking about.
Right.
So those are the things that I think lend them to keep Russ over him.
Yeah.
All right. So this last thing, the Music City Bowl. Listen, let me tell you something. Watch, this will be running my blood pressure up right here.
Yeah.
The game ends again with inches.
Mm-hmm.
So they score, or anyway, I'm giving my opinion. I'm gonna let you talk because I'm
no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Tennessee, the running back, I'm gonna just say breaks the plane with the ball.
Right.
And the referees say, when they go to review, that his progress was stopped prior to him crossing the plane with the ball. Because the man's knees never went down.
Right.
So I guess my problem is, why are referees making those types of game deciding decisions? Because even if you said, well, we blew the whistle, so play was stopped, which is what that's what they said, his progress was set. But you put a rule in place that they can continue to push teammates can continue to push. This is college football now.
Right.
That they can continue to push forward.
Yeah.
So any gain they make with that pushing should be counted. So until he was on the ground, you saw his knees, he was being twisted up, something, right? Until that was happening. Why did you blow the whistle?
This is a tough one, right? Because I wanted Purdue to win.
Of course you did. It's the SEC.
Purdue did. I wanted Purdue to win. Purdue did win.
Yes.
And when I first saw it, I was like, that's a touchdown. But when I saw it from the other angle, after looking at it again, the reason why you have that rule in place for forward progress to stop is to prevent injury.
Exactly. That's what I said. If you saw him being twisted up, then fine.
But you can't only do it when like the injury occurs.
Correct.
You have to do it for protection.
Preventative measures. Right. I understand.
And so I think that the referee clearly blows the ball dead. Now we could talk about the referee and saying like, yo, is there some bias there? Because maybe you didn't have to blow the whistle then. But within the rules of the game, his forward progress was stopped, and I think they were saying this on the broadcast, like nothing touched the ground. Well, typically when forward progress is stopped, nothing is on the ground because usually the people are like standing up.
Right, because it would be stopped automatically if they were on the ground. Right.
Now, if this was the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left and his forward progress was stopped, this would be a non-issue. But because it was in overtime and it was an untimed down and this happened then, I don't think that you could let the game end like that.
Okay.
So in essence, I just went all around I just went all around to say that I don't think that the referee should decide the game in that way. Not on a technicality like that. I understand why. Like, that's the rule, but
Yeah.
I think that you allowed a touchdown because Purdue still had the opportunity to go and score.
That's my point. You didn't give them that I think bigger than right. the you making the objective or this subject. Well, which one is it? Subjective call to say, this stop forward progress is stopped right here. You just let that, and then let Purdue have to go on their own laurels and win the game.
Well, I mean, on the same side of the coin, if you're the coach for Tennessee, one, you had the opportunity to kick a field goal and didn't. Now this play is within the rules, and your defense had the opportunity to go out and stop them. You know what I'm saying? And so if this had a truly ended the game, like Purdue kicked the field goal first and then the play ended on this, I would have had a much bigger issue with the game ending that way. But because there was still an opportunity for the game to either,
go into
a second overtime or, it was understandable.
I reckon. Look, I'm talking country right now. I reckon. No, but yeah. Anyway, time's up.
Yes, look, we didn't. I'm sure we didn't win over.
We went way over on that one. We took a lot of time with that one. Sorry, y'all. I did some that time. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.